Hello, and welcome to Art on the Farm with Mia Sage and Jan. Today we are going to be looking at different types of shapes. As we look at collage, Pablo Picasso was a very famous Cubist artist, and he created some of what's claimed to be the first Cubist art collage by using both geometric shapes and organic shapes. Now, shape is very important to art because when we look at the elements of art or these basic parts that are put together to make a great art piece, when we look at that piece, we look at the elements of art, we see that shape is a very important element of art. Now, shape is different from form. When I say form, I'm talking about something that is three-dimensional. Let's see here. This is three-dimensional, okay? It has shape. It takes up space. As we would say, 3D, when you're watching something that is 3D, it looks like it takes up space as well, okay? When we think about shape in art, we're not thinking about something that is a form. We're thinking about something that is nice and flat. When we look at shape in art, we're thinking about something that is nice and flat. Now, when I categorize these for my art students, both adult and my students who are kids, I categorize them as geometric and organic. Geometric and organic. Now, geometric shapes are shapes that you are very familiar with. These are like circle, oval, rhombus. These are square. These are math shapes, if you will. So you've talked about shapes in math class before in your life. And these are those simple, traditional math shapes. They are predictable. You can make measurements of them. You can determine the sides, the angles. You can determine the corners of these specific, very predictable shapes. Okay? Now, that is geometric shapes. Organic shapes are much less predictable. There are some organic shapes that show up in nature that are quite predictable. If you are an adult or an older student and you're familiar with the Fibonacci spiral, the Fibonacci spiral occurs naturally in nature. If you see if you see a fern before it unfurls, it has a very predictable spiral. If you go out and you look at a snail shell, that is a very predictable spiral. If you look at our galaxy, how it expands outward, there is a very predictable spiral, okay? That is a mathematically perfect spiral, okay? So even though it occurs in nature, that doesn't mean that it can't be mathematically perfect. But a lot of organic shapes are a lot less predictable than the Fibonacci spiral. So let's make a very abstract art collage. I got some magazines from the Chamber of Commerce in Monroe County, and I'm going to look through and I'm going to choose some shapes that are geometric and some shapes that are organic. You may choose geometric shapes that actually are a part of an ad and that circle is already there, or you can create the circle. For example, I'm going to add this I'm going to use a nice navy background. I just cut out the Monroe County Economic Development seal right there. Okay. If I use this side of the seal on my paper, then I have a nice geometric shape that they created. If I use this side of the seal, then I have a nice geometric shape that I created. Your choice. I'm going to go with what they created. I like it. I like that seal. So let's try to find in our pictures from our magazine. Here's some other geometric shapes that we see. Ooh. Here on the Monroe County Courthouse, I see that there are rectangles on the windows of the courthouse. I'm going to take that. Remember that if we were to be in front of the courthouse itself and we were to be looking at it, we would see that many of these items are not a shape in person, but a form, right? Because they are 3D in person. But because they're flat, it's just a flat shape for us right now. I like that. All right, let's see here. See something else that represents our county. And so I'm going to cut it out into a perfect rectangle, or as close to perfect as I can get. And that is Sequoia, the man who created the Cherokee syllabary. Many people call it a Cherokee alphabet. But Sequoia, the man who created the Cherokee syllabary, and also Sequoia is the name of one of our local county high schools. It was named after this man, the man who created the Cherokee. Some call it the alphabet, but it's actually the Cherokee syllabary. Before he created that, people who spoke the Cherokee language did not have a way to write their traditions down unless they did it in another language like English. They did not have a way in their native tongue to write their words down. That was something that he created for them. And there's a really great museum in Vonore. Talks about his life and is owned by the Cherokee people. If you ever get the opportunity to go there, you should go. It's really neat. Now, I want to start making some organic shapes. I have a rectangle here. I have a circle. These are geometric. I did not make this a perfect geometric shape for sure, but I do have circles and rectangles right in here. I could have tried to find a trapezoid or a rhombus, but I didn't. I'm ready to look for some organic shapes. Remember, organic shapes show up a lot in nature. They can be predictable, but they can be unpredictable mathematically. I see here some flowers for Christmas. And I am going to intentionally be very organic about the way that I cut out these flowers. I'm going to move unpredictably. Yeah. Okay. So some flowers for Christmas. And I see some leaves from fall. I don't know that I want all of these leaves. So I'm going to cut it to where it says event. Have it. And note, I'm being very unpredictable with the way I cut that out. Wasn't originally intended to be this way, but I think we have quite a nice little Monroe County collage going here. And we have a nice mixture of organic and symmetric shapes as we explore collage and photographs. I had such a nice time exploring with you, and I'm so glad that we found so many images that represent different elements of Monroe County, because this lesson was brought to you by the Monroe Area Council for the Arts. So this has been Art on the Farm with Mia, Sage, and Jan, and we have explored organic and symmetric. We have explored organic and geometric shapes today with Art on the Farm. Thank you so much, and we will see you next time.